TV Corner.
Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad.
Hey guys, welcome back to Filmcore TV Corner. We are doing Handmaid's Tale episode 3. Well, of the show, not our show. Okay. It's confusing release schedule. Okay.
This is the second episode of Filmcore, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So I'm Peter. We've also got Armani back from LA
Ooh, it's cold, y'all.
and Lulu.
Hi.
Cool. So let's just get into it. First thoughts on the episode.
I feel like we're warming up, you know?
I agree.
I know we talked a lot about, well, you guys did specifically about like how the first 2 episodes are kind of like, what's happening? They've kind of lost their compass here from a storytelling device. Like now it feels like, wow, we're exploring some territory that we actually care about and haven't seen before.
I would agree. And I was pretty hard on the first 2 episodes along with Lulu.
I still think this episode wasn't that great, but you know, it did cover some new grounds, and it kind of using your term table set a little more towards newer
It's
stuff.
definitely still a lot of that. But I feel like just the amount of like there was way more stuff that happened in this episode. It wasn't just like, I mean, we're not even around the characters that were in last season now. We're not really around any new characters that much either. We're just seeing little bits and pieces of people here and there, which is like fine with me. It's an interesting switch up. I mean, that was a big thing with the first 2 episodes was just kind of like, you know, we're seeing these characters from the last season and they're just kind of like hanging around. And it was like this weird. And then the second episode was like this almost like purgatory where it was just like, wait, are we going right back or are we not? And now it's like we saw June just go through like all these different scenarios. Like there is an actual plot again, you know, even if it's just being on the run.
Yeah.
All right. So June is cooped up in the Boston Globe still. And she has moved on from crying about bullets in the wall to just exercising a lot, which is cool. It's very
Therapeutic.
It's what a lot of people in prison do to take their mind off of boredom and shit.
Yeah. I think it's in a way like sort of her taking her own body back in a way that like, I mean, she doesn't get to be like physically active as a handmaid, you know, you're very domesticated. Yeah. So it's nice to just like say like, this is my body. I'm taking more ownership of it.
That's real.
And also definitely killing time.
I don't know. For me, I'm always like, what about the baby? You know, but
oh fuck, I keep forgetting that she's pregnant.
You can definitely still exercise with a baby.
Yeah. It seems like she was like already a runner.
I do like how her running was kind of mirrored with Moira's in Canada. Kind of showing the parallels of them trying to like adjust to some sort of like normalcy in their lives, you know? Yeah. They often ran together. I don't know if you guys remember in the first season something they did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was
so in
like
a way they're
bonding.
still running together.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way
nice
to put
little
it.
call out there. That's When we check in with Maura and Luke and everyone, we're starting to see a little bit more of like the outside perspective of Gilead. So Sons of Jacob is like mentioned in like a news
the radio. June's listening to them.
So that was interesting to hear. I don't really remember what they said besides that they are a thing.
I think a lot of this episode is kind of talking about the duality sort of like of both sides, you know, where there be the other side of someone who's just escaped Gilead, who was, you know, part of the Eye, for example, and is now going to go through therapy and is being really rehabilitated. Or the same duality of like, how does someone become with the Sons of Jacob? As June mentions, like, and as we see later, if she had just played her cards right or joined the right church, things would have been very different for her and Luke. You know, so kind of the 2 sides of the coin there of people who felt empowered by the movement
Mhm.
and were able to be, you know, kind of swept up with it.
Yeah.
And those who were simultaneously like pushed down by it.
Yeah.
She would have never been able to join. I mean, I don't think it matters for her so much about like joining a church though, because she was an adulterer, right, in the eye of this new regime.
I think early enough she could have slid in there.
You think so? That's
Maybe. I mean, like with June's mom or whatever, it like implies that they just dug up some old ass shit on her and like, you know, sent her off to the colony.
What do you guys think about her relationship with her mom?
It was interesting. You guys were mentioning like how big of a disappointment she was to her mom, because her mom was this radical feminist, you know, who took her to these demonstrations, and then she grew up to be this person that would be the equivalent of white feminism. And like it's interesting to see like how much June really didn't put up a fight, you know, and it makes sense about like what happened, like that thing we were talking about in the second episode, where she was like, I want another baby, you know, like kind of like makes sense now knowing that.
Yeah, the contextualizing within the show of June as like an imperfect progressive is one of the smarter things I think they could have done.
Yeah.
Because as we were talking about in the last episode, and something that it's been criticized for a lot, just like the show in the first season is, while interesting, very narrow in its like in its view of like how people are affected by, you know, fascism and stuff like that. Like one thing pointed out is just like in the flashbacks of people like being denied, you know, birth control or abortions or anything like that, you know, minorities have plenty of experience with that already. And it doesn't mean that the country is like turning into a fascist state.
Yeah.
I mean, that
This country, USA?
In like the 80s it was happening, and you know, it wasn't necessarily like we might now be, but like so to basically have the show actually call out June and be like, yeah, no, she's kind of basic is like, I mean, I think a lot of people could get on board with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that especially when looking at the difference between like her and Moira, like June had Luke as a sort of buffer between her and like the kind of laws that were really impacting people. You know, like she ultimately had a husband who could sign off on her birth control if she needed to,
and that's why she
who had access to their funds. You know,
that's why she didn't feel so bothered by it. But Moira being a lesbian,
immediately her options were stripped away. You know,
what kind of a bad friend, if you ask me? Like, I don't know.
What could she have done though?
I mean. Well, she could have been more involved. I mean, you look at the way her mom like really idolized Moira. Like when June comes to her mom's house for that meeting, you know, she talks about, oh yeah, my job at the publishing house is going great, and her mom's like, but her friend Moira's cool, right, guys?
Right.
But that thing she's doing with Moira is way cooler. That website, right? She was like,
yeah, and shout out her mom, who's exactly the character from Transparent that she plays.
I wish
it's a crossover.
Yeah.
I wish we got to see a little bit more. Like she's dead, right?
I'm sure we'll see more of her mom, even if it's in flashback. And also, I don't know, just with the way that this season is going, I almost wouldn't doubt that like she's like not dead or something. Yeah. That she's just like fucked up in the colonies or something like that. I don't know. The discovery of what happened to her mom was like way too like Deus Machina. Like the way that she was, you know, watching the presentation and then she sees the stock photo that's like, it's her mom. I was just kind of like, come on, guys. Like, that's the odds of that are infinitesimal. And in the way that there is more contextualizing of June, there's also more contextualizing of the world. They covered like a ton of ground in this episode. Like June goes a lot of places, and also we start to see an expanding of the world of Gilead in a way that I'm actually interested in.
Yeah.
Like the way that they're talking about like how certain churches benefited more from being around. Just like they are,
It's like the Westboro Church getting some strength in this new regime, right?
I guess, yeah, that would be weird.
That is true. I mean, definitely we wanted that world building. I feel like we got a lot of it the first season, but still in a pretty narrow scope.
Yeah.
Especially only related to really the wealthy
Yeah.
and the most elite in this kind of scenario. But now we're kind of seeing more of like the everyman.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, to be honest, I didn't even know it existed. Like, just compared to the last episode. I mean, it makes sense now that there are like different classes and stuff like that. But, when you watch just the first season, you're kind of just like, wow, so America looks like this now. And it's like, kind of, but like not entirely.
I mean, it would make sense that like not every man gets to have a handmaiden, clearly.
Right.
Because like, we're not just handing those out.
Yeah,
but
like
it's also just kind of like, is it so lopsided that there are like, 1% of people that live in those houses and then like literally the rest of the population is like their staff basically or army or blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I didn't think it through in the first one. And now that we're seeing the rest of it, it's like, oh yeah, duh. Like there's a massive American population.
What do you think? Speaking of that group of people, the eco workers, I believe is the term. We meet Omar and his wife, and she mentions that like a lot of those women still have kids and are still considered to be quote unquote like fruitful. Why do you think they haven't taken them and forced them to be handmaidens?
Well, the reason why June was forced to be handmaiden because she was an adulterer in the eye of the new regime. Like they don't recognize second marrius.
Oh,
so that's why I'm like, it doesn't matter what church you joined in, what you were trying to do. Like if you were somebody who they don't recognize divorce, and for them it's like a child out of wedlock, so you deserve to be punished. So that's
all the handmaidens were. I guess that makes sense. All of the handmaidens were like being punished.
Well, I think if you were legitimately married to someone within the religion, then you were probably spared. So you probably got to stay with your husband if you were like you aligned with their beliefs.
Or if you had look at the one that lost her eyes. Like she had, I think Janine. Yeah, I think her story was that she had an abortion, and that's why she was a Handmaid's Tale, because she, she could have children, but she. Like the one time she did, she either gave it away or she had an abortion, and then the teacher, Rory Gilmore.
Well, I think the qualifications to be a handmaiden were 1, could you have kids? 2, are you not already married in a recognizable marriage? If not, cool, here we go.
Yeah,
you're signed up.
Yeah, but what if you're like you could have children, but you, I mean, I guess it's all hypothetical. But like if you could have children, but you haven't. You're single, living a single life. Do you think they would capture
with the
those?
people with kids, they can't necessarily have more kids. Like there could have been something that stopped them after having the kids already. Like there could have been some sort of like biochemical like weapon or something like that. I mean, they're continuously referencing a war. So we'll probably be seeing flashbacks of like an actual, thing going down to some degree. I mean, we were looking at this like map that someone made based off the book of like what Gilead America looks like, and in the book there are referenced like nuke sites in America where like Gilead nuked their own country. So there's like a bunch of them. So there also could have been like biochemical weapons and stuff like that. So that could all have something to do with
the infertility of the masses. They were saying how, Auntie, what is her name?
Lydia.
Aunt Lydia, she was saying about how polluted the world has gotten and how we like poisoned our soils that caused infertility. So even before the bombing, it seemed like they were...
Well, that's also their like
brainwashing.
Yeah,
that's true. You're right.
Did you guys watch the Michelle Wolf White House Correspondents.
I've only seen the reactions
Wait,
to that.
where are we going with this?
The Michelle Wolf White House Correspondents
Yeah.
speech. Did you catch the Handmaid's Tale reference?
No, I did not.
She's like, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I loved you in The Handmaid's Tale as Aunt Lydia.
Oh, wait, did you see Sarah Huckabee Sanders' response to that?
Yeah.
What was
She
it?
said, "Oh, thank you. I'd love to be compared to such a strong woman." And we're like, "Oh my
"Oh
god,
my god,
you're crazy. You
Well-
obviously didn't watch the show at all."
What, like after the
Yeah.
dinner or whatever?
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's
Oh man. She she got thrashed. June eventually like gets out of the
Boston Globe.
which thank God. I was like really worried that she was going to spend like several episodes
yes, me too.
there. And that what do you think was like the text that dude got that he was like, nope, it's not safe, I can't take you. Like obviously he took her, but like
Shit, dude, shit's popping off. Don't come. Cops busted the party.
yeah.
It's
Like-
hot.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the reason that he like was caught or whatever, you know, it's kind of implied that he, you know.
It's definitely a trickle. I mean, once one person gets caught in kind of an underground ring, you don't really know how far those ripples are going to spread as more people get captured.
Right.
You know, the network
'Cause-
starts to fall.
Because of torturing, you think they're just like.
Well, I
By the
think,
way.
there's only so much you can hide. I mean, they're still using cell phones. There's still,
Yeah.
like, some level of, like, traceability there.
That's true.
What do you guys think of him not leaving her at that hangar?
It was convenient that he wasn't more of a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like he clearly had a heart. I don't know. I'm getting a little tired of melodramatic June at this point, you know, with the standing in front of the car and no.
Defiantly.
No. Like it just I
You're
don't know.
taking me.
I recognize that like I'm basically saying like I liked when she was subservient. No, I'm not that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I liked that the first season called for a lot more subtlety in her performance. And now it kind of seems like there's like a grandstanding every fucking episode. And it's just like, come on.
I kind of would respect it if she just, like, hopped up to that driver window, just, like, punched through it,
Yeah.
dragged him out of the car. I'm taking this fucking van.
Like if you gotta go hard, like let's see her just lose her shit, you know?
Like her mom said, like, we're tired of relying on men. Fuck these dudes. He don't want to take you, you take your damn self.
Right.
Like she decides to do later on.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I liked where it got to. Like, I can see that they were like setting the stage for that or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. So eventually it works. He takes her, and then his wife is a huge dick about it.
See you next Tuesday.
It's like when if you bring a puppy home. It's like, it's our new dog now. And she's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Keep that dog off my rug.
And also, it's illegal to have dogs. Like,
Our landlord's going to be pissed.
and like shoot us. Yeah, I mean, like I understood her reaction in terms of I understood her reaction entirely because like for one, you know, he wasn't supposed to have done that in the first place. So you know, you would be pissed if there was a fucking hostage in your, or not a hostage,
it is
but refugee in your
scary.
phone.
It's scary in those times. Like you could, like she's probably thinking of her own mortality at this point. And, like,
Yeah.
her family.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I mean,
hey,
you
this
saw
could
the
kill-
neighbor come by. It was really weird.
Yeah.
The neighbor just stands at the door and is like, "You guys home? Are you sure you're not home?" Like, you know, really, like
They're
everyone
watching
could be
each
an
other.
eye.
Yeah.
Which is very, very KGB of them. Like, just for everyone to be taught to be spies for each other. Yeah, and then we also learned that there's like a huge prejudice against handmaids, which is interesting.
I think so too. It's almost like they think it's a choice. It's like they don't really see that it's like these women are being pinned down and raped.
Yeah.
And instead they're like, you should have died. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you like subject yourself to that.
Or give up your kid like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it is kind of like
Shaming?
the rest of the population adopting the propaganda of Gilead to the handmaids. That was a complicated sentence, but what I mean is like the handmaids are like being taught that like this is the highest honor you could possibly have.
Yeah.
And like so the rest of the population sees that they're not as fucking brainwashed maybe, and they're kind of just like, oh, so, you know, those are like the elites prostitutes.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly.
you
They're
know?
like, these hoes living in this nice house,
Yeah.
doing nothing, banging this guy, this husband to this other woman. Like, they look like they're living the high life.
Right.
They're definitely not seeing the darkness behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great point.
It's like I lost my train of thought. That's that.
I think there's also like when it comes to like victim shaming too, like a
Yeah.
lot of women, I'm not trying to generalize, but some of them like, oh, she was weak. You know, there's a lot of words passed around when it talks about like, I mean,
she definitely
about
straight
rape-
up called June weak,
oh
basically.
yeah, about rape victim. It's like, oh, you know, like this would never happen to me because I'm a strong woman who doesn't put up with that kind of shit.
Right.
You know, and it's like there's this misconception.
Yeah, she doesn't
With
want
that.
to like hear her side. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to, and like June knows that, and I think that that's like a big sign of growth for her.
Maturity,
that she's just
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna get to know this woman. I'm gonna be here for like a day.
Yeah.
She's brainwashed.
Yeah.
You know, everyone is. Just let her fucking go.
She
Let's
does,
be good
like,
fruit.
yeah. Like, it's like she gives her, like, I don't know if you guys have worked in the service industry.
Yeah.
But that fucking quip she made about, I'd rather die than give my child up. And June's like, yeah, I used to think that too. This is like, you're way behind what's actually the problem here.
Yeah, right.
It's
And
like
it's just
she
like
didn't
she's not even gonna engage.
Yeah.
It's like she was like completely unaware that she got like knocked out of
Like, bitch, you wouldn't last 2 seconds
Yeah.
down there, so don't
Right.
even act like it.
Like, you know, June's walking around and, you know, like just when she's like looking out the window on the train, just seeing buildings and stuff is like, you can tell she's like a little bit excited. She's like a little bit like, damn, this is pretty cool.
I'm
Like
out here.
being out.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like Kanye. You know how, I don't know.
How?
How?
Oh, you didn't hear what he said at TMZ? Like how
Like, slavery was a choice?
Yeah, it's like, it makes it seem like they believe that the handmaids, all of that is a choice too. And it's, I don't know.
Oppression's never a choice, people.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not even dip our toes
Yeah.
into the Kanye thing.
Sorry.
Because that's probably several podcasts worth of discussion. Interesting, disturbing things happening in real life and television.
Yeah.
And she escapes, kind of,
Briefly.
briefly. Just briefly.
Did wheels leave the ground? We don't know.
They-
For a second.
Yeah, I don't know. But, man, I gotta hand it to them. They had me going on that one. I really thought they were gonna at least get to like another state or something. You know, I did not expect just like the instant shoot down. Maybe that was just me getting wrapped up in it. I don't know. Do you guys think that it was gonna happen or no?
No, I thought, I mean, honestly, once we had that entire thing about her, like, letting go of her baggage with Hannah and, like, saying goodbye, and sometimes that's what you do as a mother. You let go of things. You let go of your children for the better of them, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, cool. We've arced. We're here. We're ready to go. Next chapter.
Yeah.
Then I was like, damn, we're shot down. I was like, are we? We're going to make it? And I was like, no, we're not. The pilot's shot. Oh,
Right.
shit. They're dragging her out. It's over.
And what a fucked up arc too. I feel like that moment of like emotion was an interesting, I don't know, it was an interesting emotion to feel because like it's kind of tragic what she comes to, the conclusion of just kind of like, I have to leave my child behind.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not really a like all right, personal progress kind of thing. It's more like it's just it's not really like a decision between moral and immoral. It's more just like, I'm probably not going to actually be able to get her back. And also, I actually can escape right now.
Yeah.
It's fucked up and selfish, but like, it makes the most sense.
Why is it all on her though? Like her
daughter ain't doing nothing to get free.
But I'm saying like Luke had no claws.
Oppression is never a choice.
I'm just saying that Luke had no problem escaping, you know, like
He really just jogged up to that board.
he was not like, ooh, I'm saying goodbye to my daughter and all that stuff. Like, you know, it's, I don't know. It just seems like, for me, I'm just like the smartest decision for her is like, leave, go to Canada, recruit people, and like try to get her back, like get an army together, you know, like you can't do it alone. And
who do you think was the reason they got caught? Do you think? I thought it was that fucking driver. They should have left him. I was like, you ain't coming, dude.
Yeah, there was
The
like
one that got
definitely
shot?
a
Yeah,
vibe.
I was like, your life ain't that bad. You need to go back. We're gonna just take her. Like, you can hang out for a second.
why do they have like, you know, body vests and shit like that?
What you want? The stage is like Gilead's handing those out.
Yeah, right.
It was. I mean, I was kind of annoyed by the split secondness of it. You know, like they just made it in time to catch this plane, to shoot it down. But it's a show.
Yeah, it's a show. They have to. Yeah.
My heart was as wrenched as June was out of the cockpit.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Her like even down to that last little, like, she's like grabbing the netting in between the pilot seat and like her, like, you know, you're really on board with it. Like, you're really just kind of like, oh shit, maybe she'll actually just like suddenly know how to fly a plane. And like, then it's like, no, she's totally captured again.
I was kind of surprised that they shot at it, considering she's a high value person.
Yes, that's
They didn't necessarily know it was her.
That's true.
Facts.
That's true. Oh, even more reason why I fucking believe it was that one driver who got on that plane. They probably even know it was her.
Yeah, he was probably a plant.
They're probably gonna be like, oh, you're so right. They're probably pulled around like, oh shit, we got a handmaiden.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we got to call in. Oh shit, it's the one. You know.
Yeah.
We can good tonight, boys.
Yeah. Though, I mean, there could have been multiple reasons, like you were saying earlier. The wife of the guy could have like totally done something, but also the fact that they didn't come back kind of implies that they. Well, no, they probably weren't captured, because I feel like people would have like stormed the place or something immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's strategy, you know. It's like, do they want to wait and try and catch the guy who's helping to smuggle people too?
True.
If they know they can wait till nightfall and get everyone at once.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems kind of risky for them to wait to try and get you that way.
If they interrogated Omar, they would have known that they were going to the like airfield. So.
I mean, who knows? June could have maybe have left right in time. We don't know the timetable of any of these events, but
sure. And things do seem to happen just when they need to. Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Which would be a cool thing for them to fucking cool it on, but it's fine. It's fine. Episode in full. What would you rate it?
Out of what? What's our scale?
Any scale that you choose.
Ooh, all right.
In fact, I require a different scale being used for each person.
Okay, on a tasty scale.
Okay.
Oh, what does that mean?
A 0 being like 2-day-old Filet-O-Fish
Yeah.
from McDonald's, and a 10 being like Margie's ice cream. I'd give it a Taco Bell chalupa.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Pretty
good.
fucking good.
There's some moments that I'm like, why are we here? You know, why are we doing this to ourselves?
Very
but
similar
then,
to a chalupa.
just when I thought I reached a satisfying conclusion, I had to go to the bathroom. So that was kind of like this episode's arc for me.
That was a great analogy. All right, Lulu.
I think I'm gonna rate it on like the depressive scale. So like 0 would be like, oh, super joyous, no depression there, and 10 super depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will give it like a 7, so like seasonal depression.
These are great scales. This has got to be a thing we do every episode.
That was a great question.
I would say on a scale of Larry David noises from to hey, I would say probably like a
Okay.
you know. So it was like I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that I was like really grabbed by a few moments in ways that I haven't been for like the last like 60 minutes of this series. And you know, for a lot of TV shows, it's just kind of like, you don't even think that way, but like they raised the bar super high last season.
Yeah.
And
they got to hit higher.
They got to get higher.
Yeah.
So I think that this episode has really interesting world building. The plot is finally moving, and I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. The flashbacks were now actually adding to my understanding of a character rather than just kind of like, oh, their life was cool and then it sucked. Like, you know? So that was definitely cool. Hoping for more Gilead, more mom.
Mom.
Hey, Mom.
In flashback or fucked up colony mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still want to see more flashbacks of the beginning of Gilead, so I'm hoping we get that.
Yes, I want to see, like I think Lulu mentioned, I want to see Hannah. I want to see her life. I want to see day-to-day life of like what a child's life is in that world when they're taken from their parents.
Yeah,
because that is something they haven't really talked about. It's been super secretive.
Yeah.
We've never seen, and I'm super curious about it.
For some reason, I imagine it being like not Matilda, but Madeline.
Yeah, two
With
little girls in two straight
like a
lines.
really dark Madeline.
Yeah, that's how I'm imagining. Like she'll be.
Yeah.
That's honestly like that is probably exactly what it's gonna be like. Oh my
Except,
god,
like,
it's so scary.
There's like a Pepito character, like he just dies. Like he's just dead.
Pepito doesn't make
There was
it.
a bad boy named he just got shot. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Although he'd probably be like a commander's son or anything. I don't know. We're getting way too far into this Madeline crossover.
I need a refresher. Remember in the season finale? The season finale.
I thought you almost said Infinity War. Keep going. Remember Infinity War?
The ultimate crossover.
The Avengers saves.
Only the Avengers can stop Gilead. T'Challa versus Fred. Okay.
Yes. Little claws come out. Nice game. Sorry.
All right, this is now a fan fiction podcast. We're only going to talk about fan fiction theories. Lulu, continue.
Just need a refresher. In season 1 finale, we see one of the Martha receiving that packet of letters.
Oh yeah.
What's up with that?
We don't know what happened, but we do know that it's going to be important because in the opener for this season, in the like what happened last time, they like make a specific point about talking about it.
Okay.
Also, I think in the first episode, is there the implication that Serena Joy has seen the letters?
No, she's just like telling her like, I still hate you, June.
Don't be a smart girl.
You still suck.
Don't do that smart girl shit.
Do you think she's gonna go home to them? Just quick, where do you think she's gonna be in lockdown? She's not going back to their house. She can't be trusted.
There's got to be some massive torture about to happen.
What about the baby? It just seems like.
As I said last time, I don't think Gilead shares your feelings about the proper birth.
I mean, the stress is real, though. I mean, as they showed, they didn't want to do the same corporal punishment on June as they did the other women.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I guess they'll just throw her in the thing.
They're going to do something. I mean, maybe some sort of like solitary confinement situation, but like, to be fair, they have to be careful with physical strain on her body.
Sure.
So I think it's definitely all going to be more psychological.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
Ooh.
Ooh, boy.
Still affects the baby psychologically. I don't know.
Yeah, but they've got a power structure to maintain.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right. Well, I think that about does it. I'm gonna wrap this up and go keep watching The Looming Tower.
Okay.
Now that I've got Hulu, I'm going fucking Hulu.
Watch The Path, y'all.
Wild. Is The Path good?
Should we make a podcast over that?
Path, nah. It's worth a recap. I give it a shout out. Aaron Paul's amazing, but
What about Legion?
I don't know why you guys are trying to make me watch this show. It's great.
I watched 2 episodes of the first season. It was pretty fucking good.
Oh, okay. Watch more so we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. Well, cool.
All right.
Thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you guys next time.
Going up to bitch, I'll see for a million, accelerating fast. I could